I now invite the President of the Student Union, Harry Atkinson, to propose a vote of thanks.
Hello everyone, how's it going? Ladies and gentlemen, students, staff, welcome. Before the champagne reception begins, I just wanted to thank the staff again for allowing me to give this speech. In preparing it, I had quite a struggle. I think as most people that give a speech, they kind of want to be very witty, very profound. And so in kind of preparing myself for this speech, I spoke to my housemates to get some advice. And they said that my main problem was that I wasn't witty or profound. So I decided just to be honest. So uni, what was it all about? I think for some of us, it was a 3-year party. For others, it was a chance to knuckle down and actually get to terms with a subject that we really loved. And for the vast majority, it was a combination of the two. But for me, it was also about progress. And progress means being allowed to make mistakes. Mistakes are where the real learning starts. And I don't just mean academically. Studying, as I'm sure you'll agree, is just half the story. Developing as young people and making sense of ourselves in a world which increasingly doesn't seem to always make sense is also the other half of the story. There'll be some of you here with a clear pathway towards your intended careers. Some of you who are also kind of not quite sure, and still more of you who have a greater idea of what you don't want to do than what you do want to do. The future is paved with uncertainty. It always has been, but it is out of that uncertainty that the real adventures occur. We all find ourselves on the wrong route sometimes, but life whispers. If we go too wrong for too long, be still. Listen to that internal voice. It knows what you want and what you're about. On TV and in the news, we're constantly hearing there are too many people for the number of highly competitive jobs out there. But I say this, a prestigious writer by the name of Daniel Pink wrote a book, a best-selling book called A Whole New Mind back in 2005. In it, he speaks about the key to success in a new conceptual age. One, he says, which will be led by creatives. It seems to me that as creative people, having studied at the Arts University College Bournemouth, we are more equipped than most to not only succeed in this changing landscape, but be the innovators and the pioneers of a world in need of people who not only think with their heads, but with their hearts. In my opinion, a meaningful life is one spent in the company of people you love and who love you. So wherever your career takes you, remember your memories are the checkpoints of your life, and always tend to be a feeling of a place at a certain time, but most specifically with certain people. Over time, your relationships with people and your work will define who you are and what you have to offer. Honor your calling. Everyone has one. If you haven't found it yet, it's probably because your internal voice is whispering just a little bit too low, or maybe you're just ignoring it. And with that, I'd just like to say a massive congratulations to all of you at passing this first major step in your lives. And I'd like you all to join me in a massive round of applause, both for the students and the staff who got them there. Thank you very much. Woo!
I now call on the Principal, Professor Stuart Bartholomew, to address graduates and assembled guests.
Lord Lieutenant, Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, honorary fellow, distinguished guests, graduates, I should like to extend my personal welcome to you all at this awards ceremony, and also to those of you who are viewing on our live webcast. The latter is particularly important to family and friends of our overseas students who cannot attend this ceremony in person. Through this global link, I know I speak on behalf of all of you in expressing our deep sympathy and support to our Japanese students and their families who've experienced and continue to experience the terrible circumstances of the tsunami earlier this year. Watashi taki no kimochi wa anata tachi to tomoni arimasu. This is an occasion at which we celebrate the achievement of students at the Arts University College, and we should not be restrained in applauding the efforts of students who've not only met very successfully the challenges of their studies, but they've also dealt with difficult financial circumstances and have produced an extraordinary range of creative work, which most of you will enjoy during your visit to our Wallistown campus this afternoon. So I'm inviting all of you to once again acknowledge their achievement with your applause. For new graduates, it's also a time to recognise the support of families and friends during the period of your studies. This too has frequently involved financial sacrifice, the challenges of supporting sons and daughters away from home for the first time, and in some cases, the emotional demands that are part and parcel of the process of studentship. So graduates, now it's your opportunity to applaud your families and your friends. There is always a slight echo at this moment because, unbeknown to you, that the organisation of the ceremony means that some of the graduates are either under your feet in the crypt or indeed in Church House, so they have been distributed, but all of them are very keen to register their thanks to you. Now, there are 4 ceremonies today, and we will see 665 people making the rite of passage from studentship to graduation and future professional employment. And I think this allows us to reflect for a moment on the significance of this graduation event and others like it taking place elsewhere in our country. I think it is fair to say that students don't command the best press. They are characterised by exaggerated accounts of their social lives and their eagerness to express controversial views and often vigorously express controversial views. I think these two things are made at the expense of the realities of the challenges of their studies and the responsibilities that they will bear in their professional careers. In the fast-changing global economy, it is the generation that walks across this platform and others like them elsewhere upon whom the generations will depend. Notwithstanding plans to raise retirement ages, the demography of our country shows that this year twice the number of people retire against those who enter the workforce. By 2020, the dependency ratio of those out of work to those in employment in the UK moves to 60% against 48% at the turn of the millennium in the year 2000. The talents and skills of today's graduates are therefore a cause for national celebration and thanks rather than press criticism and derision. I'm an unashamed champion of students and welcome, as many of you will, a more balanced and accurate public recognition of their worth. For example, 6 of the students who have graduated today achieved Design and Art Directors Awards earlier in the year. And at the same time, we're delighted by the success of a recent illustration graduate, Emily Golden-Twomey, who has been nominated for the Kate Greenaway Medal following the publication of her second illustrated children's book, The Fabulous Flapdoodles. I'm also pleased to record as well the continuing collaboration with the Gallery Artsway, situated in the New Forest, and our presence in the Venice Biennale last month. I also have breaking news. One of our second-year graduate graphic design students, Jonathan Cleave, was at Buckingham Palace with our head of graphics, Roger Gould, who's with us this morning, presented to the Duke of York and to receive the silver medal and his entry to the World Skills Competition later in the year. This is an outstanding achievement by one of our students, all the more so because it is the second occasion that we have succeeded in this very prestigious event. And only last night, at the great New Blood show organised by design and art directors, the graphic design stand achieved the best in show, best of best of 110 institutions which were represented there, and I'm absolutely delighted for them. The Arts University College is justly proud of its record in preparing students for professional lives in the creative industries. We are a specialist provider of higher education in arts, design, media and performance, and we do boast a very influential group of alumni amongst the industries we serve. As our chair has said in his opening address, in the United Kingdom, the creative industries are a very significant part of the British economy. In fact, they contribute something in excess of 70 billion each year to the economy, a figure placing them as the third most important contributor to gross domestic product. They employ 2 million people, and in a sector which is growing faster, almost twice as fast as the economy as a whole. For too long, art and culture have been seen as a sort of diversion from our economic prosperity. The fact is, we are one of the most creative countries on earth. The creative industries aren't a fringe benefit for our economy. They're right at the heart of it. Creativity and innovation are the key drivers of the sustainability of the UK in the future. But having said that, we should not assume that we are an innately creative people. This potential that I have referred to for innovation and creative output has been nurtured in institutions like the Arts University College, and that is why it is essential that the government recognises the strategic importance of universities and colleges like our own, and of the place for a creative curriculum in our schools. The changes to the funding of higher education and the increasing burden of costs which will fall to students and their families is an obvious cause for concern. Equally, recognition of the contribution of specialist provision to the UK creative economy is overdue. The recent government white paper, which was published on Tuesday of this week, commits itself to a high-quality, sustainable and diverse sector. At the heart of plans by the coalition is the enhancement of the student experience, a matter to which this university college is equally committed. The detail of the reforms and plans will emerge over the next months, but in concert with other specialist institutions, we will be pressing our case hard and to ensure that the excellence we have established is sustained. For many of you, an anxiety will be about the employability of sons and daughters, but I do encourage you to take heart in the decision they made to follow courses in art, design and media subjects. There is a vibrant industry, and for those able to combine sensitivity to art, design and visual culture with professional skills, there are opportunities. To repeat the observation made by our chairman in his address, the Arts University has one of the highest rates of progression to employment in UK higher education. Our university college is setting its face to a new and challenging future. Students contribute increasing amounts to their higher education, consequent upon the fees which apply currently and will of course be applied in the future. As public expenditure tightens, we will see the progressive introduction of a market economy in which value for money and the forces of supply and demand will begin to shape both the provision and the character of providing institutions. We should not concern ourselves only with what's going on here. Increasingly, we are operating in a global market where our competitors are not next door, but are on the other side of the world. This October, a little over 350,000 students will enter first-year UK higher education programmes. In China, 4,300,000 students will take up such places. Sadly, the UK has been closing some of our design and art schools or merging them, where over the first years of this 21st century, China has opened 400 new art and design schools. Our membership, to maintain the living standards of Britain and Europe, will require sustained investment in our knowledge and skills base. Without doubt, the next 5 years will be a very testing time for all higher education institutions, but my confidence for the continued success of the Arts University College is rooted in the belief that we are prepared for this task, we are good at what we do, our graduates exemplify high professional standards, and there is great buoyancy of demand for the places we offer. We look forward to the future with cautious optimism. Each year, we lose a graduating class of students, and in September, October, we will welcome new ones. Similarly, with our academic and business support staff. Francis Naylor, who is with us this morning, our Head of Marketing and Communication, leaves us this term. Francis has brought to the organisation a professional approach which has done much to enhance the AUCB profile. I particularly commend her management of the launch of our new university title 2 years ago, and I know I speak on behalf of us all in wishing you the very best for the future. I also extend these thanks to our retiring Student Union President, Harry Atkinson, who made a wonderful vote of thanks. And I do take this opportunity as well to thank the Student Union for their valuable work and his leadership over the last academic session. The work that you will see this afternoon, if you haven't seen it already, is characterised by subjects in which students literally make work. The form of the final projects is very varied, but the themes of production and creative output link them all. The months of May, June and July allow this output to be literally shown. In this regard, our specialisms distinguish us from most other higher education institutions because their achievements are not confined to pass lists that are pinned up in the corridors of the registry. Our shows are exhibitions which we mount and are offered in the broad public domain, where our very best, our average, and in the rarest of all cases, the worst, is equally exposed. We share with subjects in performance and music an openness to critical assessment. Moreover, an openness which extends from Bournemouth and Poole to participation in London Graduate Fashion Week, the Design and Art Directors Awards, which I've referred to, new designers, and a range of national shows. When the showcase of film and animation made by our students is shown at the National Film Theatre on Monday of next week, Arts University College student work will have been seen by upwards of 20,000 people. Our designation by the Privy Council as a Specialist Arts University College was made in 2009. Prior to this, we had 125 years in various forms and operating in a range of social, economic, and political circumstances. And throughout this time, we have believed in the value of our specialist offer and celebrated the achievements of our students. We met severe challenges in the past, and I am confident we will do so in equal measure during the years ahead. To conclude, it is our wish, and one shared by students, staff, governors alike, to confirm the Arts University College as a place committed to excellence in teaching, learning, and scholarship, a place which nurtures originality and the acquisition of skills and knowledge directed to the production of creative work. Moreover, where such creativity achieves its maximum impact, it is in the professional progression of our students to employment. And this vocational focus is not seen by us as it is in some of our more traditional centres of academic learning. This is not an academic deficit. Vocational progression is a material strength of this university college. And with that ambition in mind, I'm bold enough to finish with a translated line from the diaries of Michelangelo. The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but it is too low and we reach it. The Arts University College has high standards and great ambition. The graduating students here are its ambassadors. Thank you.